this should be an interesting video to make. Later in my crypto career, I was exposed to the other side of the industry. A and B books, a separate market for liquidity providers, the dark games played by certain coins to get ahead, how DAOs are easily controlled, and the pump and dump schemes the venture capitals are actively participating in or organizing. Now let's talk about A and B books. Simply put, an A book is for people who know how to trade and generally win. A B book is for people who generally lose. The exchanges, through whatever means, will always identify the losers. When they do, you start losing all your money to the house, aka the exchange, and not the market. If you start to win, they then move you to the A book to compete against the other traders and participate in the real market. They understand that most people do not do their own research, nor do they bother to understand fundamentals. They employ the same tactics casinos use to ensure that the house always wins. The existence of A and B books is one of the reasons why crypto exchanges have no issue giving away free crypto to get you started. They know most people predominantly will lose that money to the house, then double down and lose even more money. There is a separate market for liquidity providers. Every token, coin, NFT, etc. that is sold on exchanges, for the most part, is being moved around between the different exchanges. For example, Exchange 1 may not carry BTC, so they need to get BTC from Exchange 2 or another provider. What they do is they go buy it from liquidity market or liquidity providers for under retail market rate. Then sell it to retail purchasers at market rate and make money on that arbitrage. The amount of money an exchange makes varies. Liquidity providers are a general term for just people who hold enough of X token and can readily provide it to exchanges. Without these providers, most exchanges will not list the token, or if they do, they will resort to other means of acquiring that token, but that is rare. Someone or some organizations will always eventually hold enough of token X and will become that liquidity provider. And that is inevitable for any token or coin, regardless of decentralization or centralization. Everything always centralizes in some form or fashion. Let's talk about how a specific coin, who I will not name, was caught basically hiring plaintiffs' firms in the US to go after their competitors. They would gift tokens to this person, then that person would then file a class action lawsuit against the token or coin that the company deemed a threat. There's a video floating around where some aggrieved gentlemen, who I think were in the UK, got one of these plaintiffs' lawyers to the UK, got him drunk, and he started bragging about it. I believe the attorney in question was from the firm accused of some nasty stuff in the Theranos case, but I could be remembering it wrong. Now let's talk about my issues with DAOs. Most DAOs are very susceptible to manipulation, and there are not a lot of actual safeguards in place or that can be put in place to protect against that manipulation. All a whale or person has to do is get enough of the supply, then they can dictate the terms and direction of the DAO, whether through technical means or social means of manipulation. If the DAO board or whoever doesn't play ball, they then threaten to dump their tokens and tank the price. That threat, whether verbalized or implied, is enough to get steering committees or DAO governance mechanisms to capitulate to the demands of that whale or person. There are more issues and examples, but they all lead down the same path that DAOs, while claiming to be decentralized, can quickly be put under centralized control. And competing DAOs have been rumored to use this tactic to maintain supremacy in the DeFi space. DAOs also require heavy participation from their community, and that is difficult to do if there is no single voice, aka a point of centralization, leading the charge. ETH has Buterin, Binance has CZ, etc., etc., etc. Let's talk about venture capital firms and the pumping and dumping. Rightfully or wrongfully, the VCs figured out it was better to give money and take tokens instead of receiving equity. Tokens they could flip for 3x in a matter of weeks, while equity they were stuck with. So these VCs would go to smaller cap tokens, pay them money, then hire Chinese influencers to pump the price of that token. They would then wait for the Americans to pump, then the Chinese to pump, let that cycle happen a few times, hit their exit goal, then dump their tokens. These VCs would often use proxies out of places like Dubai to organize the pumping and dumping, and those proxies would then send the profits back, or if the VCs kept the funds, the Dubai proxies or other proxies would then signal that when to sell. Basically, it is a scheme to dump on the Americans and the West. To understand why these proxies can get the Chinese traders to pump the price, you need to understand their compliance to authority culture and psychology. A video for another day. Whether you believe in decentralization or centralization, or are a purist or a business-focused person, it may not matter. Everything always will have a point of centralization, and there are even bigger threats to the industry as a whole. AI and quantum computing are coming, and that is, in my opinion, a doomsday level threat to the industry, and that is a threat to existing blockchain tech that does not have the ability to update or update quickly. The night is long and full of terrors in the crypto industry, and these are threats that most founders eventually come across or have to personally deal with. Thank you for watching this video. If you feel so inclined and want to support my channels, go ahead and subscribe to me on either X or on Instagram. I do post content to my subscribers on occasion that I generally leave exclusively there. I'm John. Thank you for watching.